Hello, I am back. And this time I'm talking about simple interest. So, simple interest, something you should know about it is it's not the only type of interest. We're going to learn about another type of interest tomorrow. But simple interest is interest that is earned on a fixed amount of money. And that's going to be called the principal. So it's interest that's earned one time on a set amount of money. Okay? So the formula to find simple interest is interest equals P, which is the principal, times R, which is the rate, times the time. So it's very simple. You're just multiplying three things together. And I'm going to go ahead and write up here what everything means. So we'll start with the I. The I is the interest. Keep in mind, this is not the total amount of money you have at the end. It's just the interest that's earned. Okay, so interest, and the P stands for the principal, not like the principal of your school, but the principal is that starting amount of money that you have. Okay, and then, or initial amount, some people call it the initial. Initial and starting, same thing. Okay, R is the rate, which you could have probably guessed, but what you might not know is the rate must be given as a decimal. Must be a decimal. So in the problem, it's generally always given to you as a percent. So we must change it to a decimal. That is going to be probably the biggest thing to remember. Okay, and then T stands for your time. And in our formula, we always need to use that in years. So T is our time in years. All right, now we're going to do a quick example. We've got $2,000 saved up, and we have an interest rate of 2.5% for 4 years. And I want to know how much interest am I going to earn after 4 years. So again, this is my starting amount. This is how much money I'm starting with. So $2,000 is my principal, and I'll write interest here. Okay, and then I've got a rate of 2.5%. Remember, we have to convert this to a decimal. So I'm going to write 2.5 down here. If you remember, how do we convert it to a decimal? Well, we move it 2 times. How many times? 2. Which direction? We move it to the left. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and add some zeros in front so that I can move it. Okay. 1, 2. Even though there was a decimal in our percent, because there's a percent sign, we still have to move our decimal 2 places to the left. Okay, so that means that our rate is actually 0.025. You don't necessarily need that 0, you can write 0.025. Okay? And last but not least, we need our time, and it needs to be in years, which it already is. So we're just multiplying by 4 at the end. Okay, so then you plug this straight into your calculator. 2,000 times 0.2025 times 4. And the grand answer that you get is $200. So there's $200 of interest earned after 4 years at this interest rate. All right, this is example number 2. This time, I was given $10,000 as a gift, and I would like to make a wise investment so that I can get some more money out of it. So I'm going to put this in a savings account that earns simple interest for 10 years at an interest rate of 5% per year. So again, I'm using my same formula. I equals PRT. And I'm just plugging in my numbers. So interest equals, my starting amount I said was $10,000, and I'm multiplying that by my rate, which again needs to be written as a decimal. So I always put a couple zeros out in front so that I can actually move it. So right now my decimal's here, so I've got to move it 2 places to the left. So now my final answer is 0.05. Okay? Erase this so I have some more room. All right, and then I'm multiplying by my time in years. It's already in years, so I'm just multiplying by 10. And now, again, you're just plugging this straight into your calculator. So I've got my calculator here, and I'm typing 10,000 times 0.05 times 10. This is it. And then you hit enter, and you get 5,000. That means that there was $5,000 of interest earned after 10 years. Okay, now if I asked you to find what was the balance, what was the total amount of money that I had, so I'm adding a new question. This is my new question. I want to know what's the total amount of money that I have. Well, then I need to add my starting value, my principal, which is P, and then whatever I got for my interest. And that will get me my total. Okay, so my starting amount was 10,000, and I'm adding it to my interest that I found, which was 5,000. So that means after 10 years, I now have 15,000. Okay? So the biggest part is finding that interest, and if it ever asks you, what's the total amount of money you have, what's the ending balance, that's when you're going to add the starting plus the interest. That's all there is to it. Okay, this is your practice problem for tonight. There's 2 questions here. What is the interest that's earned after 20 years, and what's the total amount of money that I have? So this is what you're using to answer both of these questions. Remember, take a picture of your practice problem and submit to Edmodo.